Yeah. Yeah, there's a record button right there.
There you go.
Good call.
Rosemary, you find it yet?
I just realized my thing wasn't plugged in.
Yeah.
The last one I did of these I did with Patrick for our hunger code.
There you are.
There she is.
Hello, Rosemary.
Took the casters off. I took my brace off, but I don't have a cast on anymore.
Yay!
Lift anything more than a teacup. Here, I'm going to turn my phone off.
The participant list said it includes Tanya, but her speaker and her video are not on.
I'm here. I can hear.
Oh, okay. How are you?
I'm opting for no video. It's no makeup Monday.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, come on.
Hi, Ark.
Be that bad.
Mary Beth, are you on?
I don't see her name listed in the.
Well, it says Glenn, so I'm thinking that's
okay. Yeah. Sean, do you expect Matt and Ryan to be attending?
I don't know. Didn't hear from either. They wouldn't. I know.
Dennis is on.
Yeah, Ryan's schedule's a little crazy right now with some stuff going on, but I thought we would probably see Matt, but that's okay.
Okay.
So with that, I guess they passed, and really because Rosemary got video working, so there's no reason for us to not go forward.
Oh, you upped everything with it. There
Yeah,
we go.
well, welcome. I hope everybody is healthy and staying well and hanging in there, and had a better weekend than the Packers general manager did. So we won't talk about that. And I guess we're going to hear from our member Jeff Sargent here in a bit as to the United Way's efforts and everything that they're doing, which is an incredible amount as in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. But I guess the first thing is just business wise. John, you want to give an update on the grants that you so diligently were part of securing for us?
I'm not sure if everybody is aware, but Rotary International made available about $1 million out of the World Fund to help support COVID emergency response throughout the world. Our district asked our clubs throughout District 6220 if they would like to apply for a $750 grant. We learned of this at grant training a couple weeks ago. Matt was there, Dave Anderson from the Early Bird Club, and Jennifer Howell, their upcoming grants chair from the Early Bird Club. We connected with each other and said, gee whiz, it would make sense to take a look at getting that money if we could, and then seeing if the clubs would be willing to match. Matt took the bull by the horns and I think contacted Sean and board members on our side and decided to match the $750 with another. The same happened with the Early Bird Club. So a total of $3 grand was going to come together. And the target for the community action would have been to support Hunger Coalition, in particular in the rural Marathon County area for 7 school districts to provide children food over the weekend for 3 straight weekends. At least 400 children would be benefited. And so that grant was ultimately approved by the district, and monies should be flowing to us for that purpose, and they'll end up in Jeff's hands, who's been an amazing guide for us in the Hunger Coalition work. There's a work group that's come together to kind of work out details, and that group has included Mike Beck and Randy Winter from the other club for public relations purposes, which is efforts underway and the rest of its logistics. And we'll ultimately hope to begin this about 3-week effort to provide food to kids in 7 rural Marathon County school districts in the next couple of weeks, God willing, and the flood doesn't, chase us away. But anyway, so things are going well there, and we're excited about that. We're hoping then to provide a final report to the clubs at a joint meeting to be determined maybe in June somehow to report on all that with Jeff's help and others. So that's fun news to see our clubs together in action and the chance to work together doing something important among all the many others out there doing the same thing, which is what we're going to hear from Jeff about, I'm sure, in a few minutes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for your efforts. Yeah. As well as Matt and, you know, and as you said, I think it's just great. It's a great opportunity to partner with the Early Bird Club and also to, you know, help take advantage of a broader Rotary program, an RI program, and bring it back to our community, which is really important to take advantage of opportunities. So that's great. Speaking of the grant fund and grant and scholarship fund, obviously part of that is funded by the reindeer run. I just wanted to sort of give you a heads up. Gayleen and Tanya, of course, the race chairs. We're going to be meeting tomorrow as we sort of, amazing as it is, start the process in depth as we work toward next December. Gayleen's built a couple of new courses, again, starting and ending at WOW, but utilizing the roads and neighborhoods. I think they're going to be really great. The big thing that we'll quickly jump into, obviously, it's not the time now because we're finding it even with the grand season, but as we get into there, we'll again be in sponsorship mode. So if you're looking for a way to get involved, I know Mike and Lori and Joe did great work last year on the sponsorship side, but it's always more hands the better. and I think the other thing is this gives us an opportunity to demonstrate, you know, firsthand, both with scholarships that we offer every year, but then with programs like this, that people are not just coming out and getting a nice holiday run and or a virtual run, because those are becoming very popular these days. And that I think that'll be an option that we will take advantage of, but that they're really reinvesting in their community. So if you have interest in that or playing a part in the run in any way, as we said, Gayleen and Tanya are the co-chairs, and we're looking forward to a great event, whether it's together, whether it's virtually, or whether it's a combination of all those things, because even if we're back to events like that, December in Wisconsin can be a little interesting. So a virtual component's probably not a bad thing to have, especially for those who don't want to run outside when it's cold and wintry. So.
What is a virtual run?
Yeah, what is a virtual run?
A virtual run basically is you sign up, you get the shirt, the swag, you know, whatever it is that that's offered, and you actually run a 5K, whatever distance you're running, on your own and submit your results. And you get ranked. So, like, for example, today I am wearing the North Olympic Discovery Half Marathon. That is in Seattle, Washington. I did not travel to Seattle to run this race, but I ran it 2 weekends ago in Weston. Ran 13 miles, submitted it, and got my nice pullover and medal for doing so. So they're you know, becoming obviously becoming very common with everything that's going on. But there was already a move toward it because there are people who, you know, they love the perks of races. They want the Santa hat or the other things we did, but 9 a.m. on a specific Saturday doesn't work for them. So
how did they submit it though? I mean, how do it's basic? Is it basically
trust?
You have to, trust. Thanks, John.
Yeah, it's an honor system.
Okay.
And so they had to do this, matter of fact, last year for, I believe it was the Green Bay Marathon, because of weather, they had to cancel. So, here are people training
Fox Cities
for was it Fox Cities?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One of them they had it was Fox Cities. And instead of telling people, oh yeah, by the way, sorry, so sad, too bad, they allowed people to submit. And I know actually my physical therapist actually ran the half on a treadmill and submitted it. So and then she got her medal. So we talked about this even before COVID.
Yep.
I had suggested it because you know, like someone like Brad Carter, former Rotarian who lives in Florida, I'm sure would support our reindeer run if he could do it from Florida in the beach, you know, with warmer weather. So, you know, our club reaches beyond the borders of Wausau. And so wouldn't it be great to be able to recruit others to participate?
Yeah. Yeah, and you usually do it at a slightly lower fee than the, you know, the in-person race. But yeah, I have to say, the virtual race is the thing that's keeping my sanity. Like I said, I've run a Seattle one. Next weekend, I'll be running the Kentucky Derby mini marathon here. And yeah, and so runners have really, and Galen's right. It's not just for those of us who are trying to stay sane. It gives us a hedge against weather on monies where you just, you know, just say, in the event that there's inclement weather, if the race doesn't go on, the race will be transferred to a virtual race. And yeah, you submit your results. Some races get really technical and make you submit your, you know, smartphone data, your Garmin data or something like that. But 99% of them just do on the honor system. And there are no awards for, you know, age groups or anything like that. When you do a virtual run, you just get to see your name on the leaderboard, and you know, every once in a while somebody gets called out because somebody looks at it and says, I think you submitted the wrong results, or you just lied because you ran, as happened in the race I ran, you ran 5 minutes faster than the world record for a half marathon. Turned out that person was trying to post their 10K time, not their half marathon time, and was mortified. So no.
Sean, can you hear Kelly?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. I have a question about the sponsorships and how effective it may be going forward after, you know, a lot of the businesses being shut down and everyone being affected by all of this. I know, for instance, Oneida County canceled their fair for late August because they are so heavily dependent on sponsorships, and they just figured that they weren't going to be able to raise the money that they needed. So taking that into consideration in terms of the budget and plans and stuff like that is just a thought.
Yeah. No,
Go ahead, Sean.
I would say absolutely. I mean, we're seeing it with the Grand, with our season, that corporate sponsors are backing down. The one good thing is that, you know, I think a majority of the sponsors we have for this race are not at a, you know, we're not talking at the $10,000, $15,000 level.
Yeah.
We're talking lower level, and it's broader based community support. So I do think that's helpful. What I'm hearing from sponsors is they're sort of putting things into the queue. They're not doing a lot right now.
Good.
Till July, August. So, you know, we don't want to wait till July, August, September to get in that queue, because suddenly we'll be behind
Sure.
all other events.
Sean,
Yeah.
I may have missed this because I was gone early in the year, but did we report on the proceeds that we earned from our reindeer run?
Yeah, and I have to go back and find the exact number of what it is, but yeah, the sponsorships are the majority of it. On the race itself, we basically broke even, lost a little bit of money, but we did have pretty substantial sponsorship revenues. That really, I mean, that is the model. Although Galen has told us she's going to triple the number of runners next year, so we're good.
What? What?
So is there a general total that we raised somewhere roughly?
It is. I'd have to. It's out of my mind right now. I'll have to dig it up and pull it out. We did the P&L a couple of months ago at a board meeting, but of course now it's. See if I have it file quickly. Yeah.
All right, we can get it later.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me see.
Let's see, we got run sponsors. We had, oh, that was cash receipts. Never mind. I'm just looking at last month's.
About seven. I found it. We netted about $7,000 on the run.
Great, thanks.
One thing that we wanted to do was trying to, with the registration fees, make sure we can cover, whatever costs of the running itself. And then obviously the sponsorship comes and helps support the additional money that we use for the grants. So that was the idea. That's why we were trying to make sure we're keeping costs down for the materials and et cetera, and for advertising.
Yeah. Well, obviously, no, it was a good first event, but more runners will make it a better future event. That's the goal. So.
I hesitate saying anything because I'm not sure this is the right venue for it, but if we could get pictures of all the students who receive scholarships, I think using those images of those students will really help sell sponsorship, so to speak.
We're working on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I mean, I think people just don't want to hear scholarships and grants. They want to see specific outcome of that. And so, yeah, a sponsorship thing that says so-and-so graduate of Wausau East received a scholarship, and these are the, this is what they've done. This is where their future endeavors are taking them. I think that's a lot. That's really powerful. So
maybe I can mention something about that, Mike, to some extent. This year, things are quite different, because schools are not in session. So the traditional May award nights where people congregate to receive those scholarships have all been canceled. So we've been working, Sue Nelson and I, with the different schools to figure out how they're going to make those presentations. And some of them are going to be virtual, many of them virtual, but Joe, for example, who was willing to present our scholarships for DC Everest, ended up making a little YouTube video submitted to DC Everest so they could present that. Other schools like West and East, I think, are going to be conducted differently, and I think Newman as well. But we'll be able to use, we know the 8 recipients who we've awarded, and after mid-May, we'll be able to take that information and obtain from the schools or the recipients their scholarship or their senior picture, which we can make use of with your help perhaps to publicize. Plus, we do invite them to the June 1st meeting, they and their parents, and should be able to be done virtually just like this.
Yep. Absolutely. No, it's great. And thanks for the scholarship committee members who went through them and volunteered to help get the awards into people's hands, and we're all adjusting to their schedules and things, but it's still great that even the schools that are going to virtual announcements have made it clear that they will be reading each of the scholarships that students have received and sort of what this, introducing the awards essentially the way we would have. So we'll still get the recognition of supporting the students and their academic achievements.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I want to make sure we keep things moving on. Happy dollars, $10.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I have Sean? I'm sorry. Can I jump in there for an update?
Yes.
It's obviously a pretty obvious thing, but the youth exchange program, the short-term youth exchange program, is canceled for the summer. So just heads up. So.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. Disappointing, but understandable. I think we all knew that was the likely outcome. So, well, with that sad news out of the way, I'm sure there are some happy news in the world that we can share, and you can keep track of the dollars you owe for when we join in person, where you can just send a check in whenever you feel the need, whenever it's reached an amount that you feel comfortable with. So.
Go sports. Sports. Yeah, here's the sports. Here's the NFL draft. Get the green route of that 5K done. So happy dollars. I'll I'll put myself down for like 10 happy dollars. How about I just give a 10 spot next time we meet in person or whatever, or send a check or whatever. You hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. That course that Iron Bowl put together out at 9 Mile, that was really great to have marked courses at 9 Mile and see people out running and walking that course yesterday. Was like, it felt like a normal Sunday, which was really nice for a change.
All right. I will put in some happy dollars. I'll put in 5 happy dollars. Speaking of running and walking, my son Micah is finally up and walking now. He's just wandering all over the place, turning directions, going backwards, and just couldn't be happier for him. It's really exciting for both of us to watch him walk around. So
Nothing is safe anymore.
We've been wishing and wishing, and now it's here. So now everyone can tell us why we shouldn't have wished for it. But yeah.
That's great.
I can't really top that, Joe. But we heard recently that our daughter, who's in the Twin Cities, it's kind of a journey, but anyway, she landed the job that she really wanted at a Stillwater High School teaching English, and just very excited. It's a big school, lots of opportunity, and I think she's a great fit. She's been there for part of the past year. So anyway, great for her, great for us, and I got to tell you, we feel very blessed that our kids and their spouses have remained gainfully employed through this time, and you know what, you don't want to take that lightly, right? And so anyway, so we're very happy about that. I'm sure, Deb, you can probably put some sort of dollar amount attached to that, but okay, anyway, we'll see if we can make good on that. So thanks.
Well, this is John. I can throw in 5 as well for a couple things. One, we talked about our COVID grant. We talked about those 8 scholarships. Those are fun, good news. But it just dawned on me that since we had a club meeting 2 weeks ago, our youngest son and his wife in Baltimore, Maryland, this is the son who avowed that he would never get married and never have kids. They announced about a week ago that they're going to have their first in October. So that'll make our 8th grandchild. So that was really almost fall off the chair news. So it was pretty exciting. So I'll throw in 5 for all those things.
That's great.
That is great. That is great. Anyone else? Any sad dollars?
No, but I got a question.
Yeah.
How do you do the clap thing on the screen? I keep seeing those pop up.
You see the reactions button at the bottom, Jeff, on that panel? If you touch that, then open it up and it's got either a thumbs up or a clap.
Oh,
there you go.
There we go.
Really?
I did not know that one.
Exactly.
I do have one. Am I in there? Okay, I have one. Sean, you know this. The Wausau Community Theater did reschedule the Wizard of Oz, so my son is going to be in the production. So I'm pretty excited that he'll be able to continue. So I think he's still a flying monkey, but I don't know. Can't recall.
Flying monkey.
I like they referred to it as a detour on the yellow brick road. I thought that was a really a good way to address that. Anyone else? Well, good. Deb will calculate the amounts you owe and send them out to you along with a facilitation fee for collecting said fine. A good business model. Split between the our grant fund, the conservatory, and the grants fund, because it was my idea and Deb's facilitating it. So just ignore the number and just pay it. Anyway, well, with that, we're fortunate to have Jeff Sargent, our fellow Rotarian, here today to give us a discussion, conversation, presentation on all the things that the United Way is doing. And I think I speak for all of us when I say it's times like these that all of us realize just how important the United Way is in our community. And so thanks to Jeff, to you and your staff for the work you're doing, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, and just a comment of thanks for everybody and our community. Obviously, we know that our community steps up in times of need, and certainly that's happening now. So I'm sure you've done a lot yourself to assist in any way, so thank you for that. I'm just going to make a couple brief comments, and can everybody hear me okay? Let's just start with that. Okay. All right. You know, we are still working. We're all working remotely, and all of our staff are still working. One of the big things that we've been doing is staying connected with our funded partners. So we continue to talk with them. Every other week we have a Zoom or a Teams meeting like this, where we have an opportunity to just hear what's happening with them and how we can assist in any way. As an organization, we have redeployed some of what our staff have been doing, because like a lot of your organizations, if you can't work in the same way right now, you have to work differently. And so what we've been doing is having some of our staff assist with some of our partners. A couple examples are mobile meals. We have staff delivering meals. The Neighbor's Place food pantry. We've had staff assisting with that food pantry process, because now it's being done differently. And we also were very involved with the warming center. For those of you that don't know, the warming center moved twice during this last couple months, and we assisted with that. And so we just made a decision to have our staff do what they can to benefit the community if some of their current responsibilities can't be carried out in the same way. 211 has been very active, very busy. A lot of calls coming in initially about needing information, wanting to know resources. So we've been working closely with as many community resources as we can to make sure that we're getting their information updated and accurate. In the event that somebody needs it, we want to make sure that they can get it. We don't want to give them old information. So 211's been very busy. And we've also, we're part of the Addiction Recovery Helpline for the state of Wisconsin. And we have seen an uptick in those kinds of calls as well. Not surprisingly, during this time, people, mental health, addiction issues get exacerbated. And so we have seen increases there. But 211's been very busy. We've also been very busy with our volunteer connection. We have a volunteer engagement coordinator. And so as this started to evolve and we could see how volunteering within the community was going to change, we started communicating with our partners to make sure that we could still help facilitate volunteer engagement and promote volunteering, but in a different way. Obviously, what we've been emphasizing is safe, small, and solo volunteer opportunities as much as possible. We've also done some virtual volunteering. We did the Thank a Healthcare Worker activity where you could go online and just make a comment. And then we also are doing a plant a seed project where you can basically plant a seed at home, grow those plants, and then donate them later on to a food pantry or to a community garden. So we're trying to help people stay connected. The Hunger Coalition's been very active with food. As was mentioned, we're involved in the rural school program for weekend meals, and the Rotary clubs are contributing to that, which is a big thank you. We also this weekend just had a Hispanic pop-up food pantry where we had food given out in Wausau on Saturday and then in Abbotsford on Sunday. And between those two distribution sites, about 225 families each received a week's worth of food. And that's been a population that's been very hard hit by this because many of them lost their jobs. The Hunger Coalition's been picking up and delivering food to different locations, different food pantries, and to make sure that when we have donations for food, that the truck is getting out there and getting the food as quickly as possible. The COVID-19 Community Response Fund, we established that in conjunction with the Community Foundation of North Central Wisconsin. I was hoping Jean would be on the call today that she could talk a little bit about that. But basically, that's a partnership, and how it works is community is donating money, and then between our two organizations, we are distributing those funds. So far, we've raised $316,000, and $232,000 has been distributed to about 29 organizations. I'll just give you a couple examples of what those are, just so you can see, and I'm trying to pull it up as quickly as I can. Okay, so far about $100,000 has been given for childcare. 67,000 has been given for food and basic needs. Another 32,500 for shelter, rent, and utility assistance. And just like examples of some of the organizations: Blessings in a Backpack, Catholic Charities, the DC Everest School District, the Hmong American Center, Key to Life Christian Child Care, St. Vincent de Paul, Wausau Child Care, Wausau School District. So it's a pretty good broad range of community partner organizations and different groups that are able to meet the needs in the community quickly. And so that's been a very positive project, and we're really excited about that. And then the last point I'll make is that, like everybody else, we're just starting to have conversations about what does the transition look like for us once we kind of go back to maybe being in the office. And there's a lot to consider. We do a lot with volunteerism. We do a lot of activities. We do a lot of events. We have a lot of people that come and go within our organization. And we're trying to really evaluate as we sort of phase back, what does our phase back look like? Because we know we can't just, have 30 people in one of our rooms. Let's say it's January 1st. That doesn't sound very realistic to us. So we're trying to figure out how we do that. And as soon as we have some of those details, we'll be getting them out to the people that we're working with. So that's just a quick overview of some of the stuff that we've been doing.
Fantastic. Thanks. Thanks so much for all this. Any questions for Jeff?
Jeff, this is John. I know that it's not specifically about COVID, but obviously you guys are about ready to get ready for a spring organization for the campaign that heads into the late summer, fall. I imagine there's lots to be thinking about in terms of what that means to United Way, how to approach it this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Our mindset right now is we're still in response mode. We think that's probably going to stay true through May. But then we really have to start transitioning. And I heard a great little metaphor, I guess, is when you're on the plane and the flight attendant comes on and they talk about, in the event of an emergency, make sure that you put your mask on first so you can be available to help somebody next to you. And we're kind of looking at that with United Way, that we do have to find a way to make sure that we stay strong because we have to be there for our community. And so we're not going to linger too long in this sort of crisis mode, because we do have to sort of shift. The good news for our community is there are some other resources that we know are out there that are beginning to start to mobilize themselves, some other foundations and some other funders that have been monitoring this. And so I think, finding that right balance between when's the right time is something that we are starting to look at, because we do need to have as a strong campaign, but we obviously are aware that there's going to be a lot of challenges with that. We are monitoring, collections from the last campaign, and then we're looking ahead to the future campaign, and looking at the companies that we work with, monitoring and watching, how they're doing. So yeah, it's like for everybody, it's pretty uncharted water, and we'll do the best that we can, obviously.
Great.
Jeff, I'm just curious. So obviously you're part of this network. I mean, you're a local organization, right? But you've also got you got connections to the state and national group. And I'm just kind of curious, what are you hearing out there? I mean, are there some things that do they give you some advice on sort of how to proceed with things? I mean, I don't know, I guess kind of what does that sort of national and state organization sort of look like for you, and are they others of assistance to kind of help you in some of that decision making? And maybe I shouldn't mention this, but maybe it's just my computer, but your audio fades and then it comes back up. It's not a consistent level, and I don't know why that would be, but I heard you, but you got kind of low for a while, and I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So, but I am curious about the kind of your connections and how those work in a time like this.
I'll try to speak up louder so you can hear me. I do. Yes, we do have connections. We are in regular contact with other United Ways across the state. We are also participating at a national level. They're like everybody, trying to figure it out a bit, but certainly. There is different ideas on how to proceed. Some ideas around how to do some projections in a way that it seems almost impossible to do. So there are some guidelines that we are getting that can be somewhat helpful, but the big part of it is really monitoring and looking at your current landscape. That every community is different. Certainly in our community, many of the companies that we work with are considered essential. So that's been helpful. However, we see every day that there have been, changes to their situation. For example, Aspirus announced some furloughs. Marshfield Clinic has done some furloughing. So those are the kinds of things that when we see that, a lot has to do with how many of those furloughs are donors. And so, yeah, there are some tools that we have access to.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Jeff? I just will say our concert series that we're doing, the Quarantunes series, our virtual series, one of the things that we've asked the artists to do is they can promote their patron programs, merchandise and such, but we also share a link to the COVID-19 Relief Fund that Jeff mentioned. That's the partnership between the United Way and the Community Foundation. And I have to say, it's really fascinating to me as I start these dialogues with artists literally from across the country. And I say, we have something we want to support locally. And they start wanting to, this area, or can we support, this food bank, or this is what we're doing in Nashville, or this is what we're doing in Chicago. And I love being able to say to them, no, actually, we have something that is, a group that is working together to coordinate all these needs and making sure that, you know, the most important ones are met. And it's really sort of fascinating to me talking to these artists, and they're like, oh, you know, I wish we had that where I live, or, you know, because it's so confusing. We don't know who to support, or, you know, who needs to take priority, but we want to help and we want to give. So you know, thanks to Jeff and to Gene and their respective teams for that. I think it's a really amazing resource for our community. Well, good.
Jeff, this is John. Another question, if I may. Is the demand for the COVID fund that you and Gene are supporting greater than the supply? I realize that you mentioned that there's been, what, over 300,000 raised and not quite that much awarded yet, but are you still working through the requests, and is that group of requests going to be greater than the amount available?
Yeah, we still are getting requests. We process those twice a week, so on Tuesdays and on Fridays. There continue to be requests. I do anticipate that there probably will be more requests than what that fund can support. But again, you know, I think the real question is, how long can you stay in that mode? Certainly, you know, in every nonprofit, you know, they all struggle with this, especially when you're in a joint project like this. How long can you, and for United Way, it's interesting because, you know, we have to raise money ourselves. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you're trying to balance when's the right time. It's not that we don't care about that response, but we also have to be on the recovery side too. So I think that there probably will be, there is a greater need than this fund can meet. I don't think there's any question about that. And any nonprofit that's doing any kind of human service is going to have tremendous needs going forward because this isn't just right now. This is going to have long-lasting impacts. So yeah, I do believe that there will be more need that can be met just by this fund.
Can I ask a related question? Is the money that's coming in beginning to trickle down, or are you at a steady pace of contributions? I'm just not sure if the donors have become exhausted in terms of their availability to give, or what are you seeing in terms of that funds continuing to attract additional dollars?
It's like a lot of funds that start. You know, there's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement, and, you know, people come out of the gate strong. And then I think we definitely have seen a plateauing. We continue to have conversations with certain groups that are thinking about funding, but definitely, like last week, I think is a good example. I think we maybe had like $10,000 or $15,000 that came in last week, whereas the first couple weeks, you know, we had like $100,000. So I think we've definitely seen that. We've also seen people donating specifically to causes that they care about, which has been tremendous too. There was the effort recently, Channel 7, I think it was Sing for Your Supper project, and that raised about $80,000 for the neighbor's place. So wow. There's a lot of funds out there right now that are all meeting the need. So that's why we came together on our fund, because we didn't want to be competing against each other. But yes, I think it is beginning to sort of scale down a bit.
Well, thanks for all the work that you're doing, you know, and your team. And yeah, it's in these situations we realize just how important all these service organizations are for our entire community. And, you know, it shouldn't take something like this for us to realize the work that's being done. So, you know, and the best type of social services are being done by Deb there, who has the pup.
Ollie's decided to join the meeting. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. You know, pup interested in being a member. Can we get the membership application to the?
I'd be stuck paying her dues though.
Oh, I hear lunch is free for guests, so.
She's only 6 months old, so she's a real pistol.
Oh yeah, yeah. That day is coming for Heather and I here in about 13 days. So we'll see how it out. But anyway, well, good. The other business concerns, thoughts, everybody. This has been great to get together and great to hear from Jeff and sort of feel like as normal as things are these days. Anyway.
Just one shout out, if I may, Sean, to Andrew Edwards for his work in helping to coordinate topics and programs. I've been working with him for one that he's helping me with in May. So thanks for your assistance. It's always good to see great partnership, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's great to have. Yeah. A good group of members, and it's great to see people stepping up and helping all the various causes. So with that, I will stay healthy, stay safe. I see the sun is coming out. So, so we made it through the rain this morning and the sun is coming out. So maybe that's a sign for the rest of the week. So with that,
real quickly, I've been kind of messaging back with Dennis and you, Sean. You are recording this, correct?
Yes.
So Dennis is going to send me the link as soon as he can get it up on YouTube, and then maybe we can get it up on our Facebook page too, Jim. And so then people that couldn't make it today can still see it. So we're going to keep trying to do that.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out what it generates. It's the first time I've done one, but I'll figure out where it is and send it to you so that way you guys can move forward. But yeah, it's great to share it.
Dennis knows how to do that too.
Good. Well, then we better end it before I say anything that I will regret or be held against me, in future endeavors and, in the public forum. So with that, great to see everybody, and let's conclude the meeting and get started with the rest of our week with the 4-way test. Other things we think
fair.
Is it fair to all concerned?
To build goodwill and better friendships. It would be beneficial to all concerned.
Very good. Very good. I've got a bell. With that, we'll say thanks for being here. Have a great week, everybody. Great to see you. We will, as we continue on, we'll see you again in 2 weeks with our next program. So until
Bye.